Kamala Harris is now the presumptive Democratic nominee. What did I say over a year ago? Joe Biden will not be the nominee. Guess what? Joe Biden's not the nominee. Now, I did say that if Kamala is put into that position, I do not think that she will stay in that position. I'm not as sold that she's not going to be the nominee as I was. I don't know what game they're playing, but we're going to show some clips really quick, and then we're going to talk more about that. But let's listen in to the Kamala Harris propaganda campaign going on.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon Bream, along with Kennedy, Jessica Tarlov, Charlie Hurt, and Greg Gutfeld. It is 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five.
Yeah, let's speed this up.
Overdrive to help Vice President Kamala Harris erase her biggest electoral liability, her far-left record. Despite Harris being rated 2019's most liberal senator by GovTrack, there's been some change to that. Well, the ladies of The View, Democrats, and others in the press are attempting to rewrite the vice president as just a moderate.
Prosecutors are not really leftists. They put people in jail for a living, okay? They're pretty moderate. I know the vice president personally. She is not, she's moderate.
The radical in this campaign, Michael, is not Kamala Harris, as all the Trump advertising is saying now. The radical right-winger is Donald Trump.
This shocking radical left agenda is actually mainstream economic populism.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans just lie, lie, and lie. Her record is very clear for anybody who wishes to take a look at it.
And it's not stopping her past from coming back to haunt her like a freight train. I don't know if they haunt people, but in this case, they do. Just today, a resurfaced interview emerged from 2020 where Harris offered some praise for the defund the police.
Yes, she wanted to defund the police. So I've talked about this many times. Kamala Harris is one of the dumbest human beings on the planet. Okay, she is the diversity hire. She is the symbol for DEI. Didn't earn it. Okay, that is ultimately all it is. All right, she is it. She is so incompetent. It is unbelievable. She's also incredibly unlikable, which is why she has failed in every campaign she's been involved in. She has not earned her way to this position at all. She is the definition of a diversity hire. That is what she is.
Peace movement.
Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. For too long, the status quo thinking has been you get more safety by putting more cops on the street. Well, that's wrong. This whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets and figure out whether it reflects the right priorities.
And that's not all. The vice president will also have to answer for her far left positions on these issues.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Would you support changing the dietary guidelines, reduce red meat specifically?
Yes, I would. I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. The idea is that everyone gets access to medical care, and you don't have to go through the process of going through an insurance company. Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
All right. So, Kennedy, those positions are popular with a lot of people. Do you think she'll embrace them and say, yeah, I am standing by that? You can't use it against me.
She did with the AFT the other day when she spoke in front of the teachers union.
I can't believe. So I'm at a point where I am not convinced she's going to be the nominee. I know that's what it looks like, and that's obviously the safe bet to think that she's going to be the nominee. You've got the whole entire Democratic Party now, including Barack and his husband have both endorsed Kamala Harris. So you've essentially got the whole Democratic machine has endorsed her at this point in time. So I think she probably, like, smart money says she's going to be the nominee. I get that. But the Democrats I don't feel like they're trying to lose this at all. And there's a reason Joe Biden is gone. And look how quickly that happened. Joe Biden in one tweet. Joe Biden in one tweet in the span of 10 days. President Trump got shot, and Joe Biden in a tweet stepped down as the party's nominee. These things can happen quick. So I know that it's just an easy thing to go, yeah, she's clearly going to be the nominee. The Democratic Party is that they want to win this thing. Kamala is going to be a horrible candidate. She's going to be worse than Joe Biden. Right now, there's not enough information on her out there. Not enough people have heard from her. But the more you hear from her, the more you see her, the more you see her mannerisms, the more you see how stupid she is, the more you hear about her policies. That's going to have a negative effect.
You know, she was very transparent about bowing down before the body that kept kids out of school for 2 years. I thought that was a bit of a stumble on her part. It's going to be a tough sell, but I'm actually glad we're having a conversation about the issues and not about memes and personality, because we have been sold on memes. We were sold, not all of us, certainly not me, but people were sold on the idea, the kitschy idea of dark Brandon. And we don't want to be spoon-fed that again. Her record is very problematic because it's all over the map. You know, on one hand, she's a ruthless authoritarian with the people that you absolutely should not be targeting in her home state of California. On the other hand, she is an open borders Democrat who has no solution congressionally or otherwise for the border crisis that she certainly exacerbated as border czarina, which she was. That's what she was anointed. And as much as they try and scrub that history and give us a revisionist lens, she's been on the wrong side of so many issues. And the red meat thing, you know, that was a new one that a lot of people forgot about. And they don't want the government messing with their bodies. You know, if someone is so pro-abortion that their personal orthodoxy is, we're going to keep the government out of your body, out of your lower half, then the same goes for what I eat. I'm sorry.
Until it comes to eating bugs. That's a different decision. We may have to eat bugs, apparently.
Well, it's something some of us do as a fetish on the weekends.
Well,
and I mean,
no
anything
apologies. Dipped in chocolate might work.
Absolutely right.
Okay, so we also have this very this vibe around her now that feels like President Biden before he dropped out and pre-debate, Charlie. It's sort of like he can do no wrong. These all are cheap fakes. These are cheap shots.
They have 100%. If you've been paying attention to social media, the full propaganda machine is now behind Kamala Harris. No doubt about that. And you had this Barack Obama Big Mike phone call with her that was clearly scripted. It was clearly organized. And that's gone mega viral on social media with them saying that they support her and they're going to do everything they can. They are doing everything in their power to make her look as competent as possible. And it's not going to last. It's not going to last. The moment that she gets on the debate stage with President Trump, he's going to annihilate her. He's going to destroy her. And yeah, I'm not convinced she's going to be the nominee. I'm just not. I know that's the smart thing to say right now, and that makes the most sense. I'm just not convinced right now. I'm just not convinced. I don't believe anything these fuckers say. How many times did Joe Biden tweet out, I'm not stepping down. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing this. You had all the Democrats rallying around him saying that he's our nominee and we support Joe Biden. And then one day, boom, he's gone. It's over. It's done. Because Joe Biden was never in control. Kamala Harris is not in control. None of them are in control. The Democrats have an entire machine behind their movement. They absolutely do. A machine.
At him, and he is with it. He's exciting. He's our guy. And then they turned on him, but now it feels like we're getting the same treatment with the vice president.
Yeah, we're going to see the biggest rewrite of a political career that the media has ever done, like since the invention of electricity. I love Kennedy's optimism that this is going to be about issues. I hope it is. I'm afraid that it's just a few of us talking about the issues. I think a lot of people are just talking about personality and the memes and stuff like that. And of course, I think that's the sort of the strategy that Democrats are playing. But this is why you have an actual campaign, why you have a primary, is so that these things, they're now in a situation where she is getting her first big exposure as a presidential candidate. And it's during the general election, and everybody is pawing through and finding all these crazy Democrat red meat policies that are going to be terrible in a general election, but she's having to struggle with them right now. That's, I mean, if you want Donald Trump to do well, that's a good thing. But I still worry that there's going to be such an effort to make this as hysterical as possible, to talk about whatever they have to talk about so that they don't have to talk about the issues. Because when you go through that list of issues that you just did, like defunding the police, open borders, abolishing private health care, the Green New Deal, all these kind of things, it's a total loser for Kamala Harris. And Trump is...
You know what's sad about this? And I'm not even joking. She would probably be worse than Hillary. I know that's a big statement, but she'd probably be worse than Hillary in terms of being, if she won president, she'd probably be worse than fucking Hillary. Like, we're talking about a very stupid person. We're talking about a very, very dumb person.
Is right on all of them.
Well, Jessica, do you have were you surprised at all that this coalesced together as quickly as possible around the vice president? Do you think it would have been beneficial? As you know, Congressman Clyburn said, let's let them fight it out. He was supporting her, but he said it's actually good for testing her and everybody else who might be her number two through this process.
I certainly think it would have made great programming and that people would have liked to have seen it. But the truth of the matter is we don't have much time. And this was Joe Biden's decision. And the delegates, a lot of them have spoken out about this. They voted for, or they're representing Joe Biden's wishes. And he is part of the Biden-Harris administration. And in that sense, it makes sense that this was her nomination. So we have 3.5 weeks until the DNC. We have 102 days until the election. I'm fine with this. She represents a lot of where the party is, and not the Kamala Harris of 2020, but the Kamala Harris of today. And that is the maneuver that she's going to have to make. And I think,
who is the Kamala Harris of today? Who is it? What has she accomplished? Name one thing she's accomplished. Name one specific accomplishment that she has had as a vice president of the United States of America. You can't name one because there aren't any. She's only got failures. She is a complete failure across the board. I think somebody in the chat said it, but far be it from us here at Cobra Cast to compliment Hillary. But yes, at least Hillary was qualified. At least there were some qualifications with Hillary. Kamala Harris has done nothing. She's a bigger fraud than George W. Bush, which says a lot. Holy shit, man. Heels up Harris.
I think that she has a lot to say. I mean, if you watch the whole video, for instance, when she was talking about defunding the police, the point she was making is really salient. She was talking about what a safe neighborhood looks like. And it's not crawling with cops, right? It has great schools. It has thriving small businesses. It has really high home ownership, which has been a priority of the Biden-Harris administration to make sure that people can get on the property ladder. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, as it were, of what the Biden-Harris administration did it. The most delicious flavor of it at all. You know, they have invested more in law enforcement than any other administration in history. Donald Trump actually proposed a 58% cut to the community policing program. They put 3,700 police officers on the street through that program. Another 100,000 that came in through the Safer America plan. The American Rescue Plan had $15 billion in it for crime and policing to make sure that we have safer communities. It's a strong record to run on.
What are you
the border right now,
about,
we were talking
woman?
about this. Jennifer Griffin was tweeting about the
I love how they take these
Sinaloa cartel bosses.
They take these things that they take these bills or whatever, and they'll take like a piece out of it, that's something that was rejected, and it was rejected for a whole different reason or whatever, and they'll just say like, Donald Trump cut this. Shut the fuck up. That's not what he did.
That were apprehended. She said that it was like catching Bin Laden when it comes to the war against fentanyl. That happened under the Biden-Harris administration. Encounters at the border are down 55% since the executive order.
Take it easy, Chad. Appreciate you, man.
Out of hitting numbers that had wildly spiked after the Trump administration, not back down to those numbers.
I understand that, and you obviously have to acknowledge that there were huge spikes, but it doesn't mean that she's the same person that you saw in 2020. She oversaw the implementation of the policies that have led to all of these good results.
Okay, so she owns this then, all of the policies of this administration. Do you worry, Greg, that there's always that honeymoon period? We keep talking about this. It shows up for any candidate, D or R, when they're new to the race. Because it's so close to the election, do you feel there will be a full vetting of her actual record?
Well, the media always follows this predictable pattern. And I don't think I don't think the American people are going to fall for this. We're in this period of Kamala denialism, right? It's like the world is in a serious place. America is in a serious place. We have malaise. We have unrest. We have kind of a lack of adult supervision. Like who's in charge? So they need to portray her as the serious person who could handle this. But you can't do that if the person was for defunding the police, if the person was for open borders, if the person likes to take credit for the Afghanistan withdrawal, how soon are they going to rewrite that one? There's so many things that she says that contributes to her kind of unserious persona that they need to erase this stuff. And they're doing it right in front of us. You know, I talked about this before. The definition of arrogant stupidity is when you try to gaslight a bunch of people. It's like, you know, it's like those hypnotists who try to hypnotize everybody and everybody's there going, this is BS. You can gaslight one person alone. I can say to Kennedy, wear your glasses, and you're saying they're on your face. And I'll say, wear your glasses. I can get you to think maybe you're crazy, but you can't do that to millions of people. And you can't do that when there's so much evidence out.
Greg, they kind of did that. They kind of did do that. All right. They kind of made everybody wear face diapers and social distance and shut the world down and made people not go to their family members, funerals. And they kind of did do that. There. But I understand his point. I do understand his point.
It is amazing to me that the media will continue to do this. And I go back to the fact that everybody should remember what Twitter was like when it was still owned by the old crew. If it was owned by those pre-Musk people, you wouldn't see the pushback over police defunding, the borders bailing out felons. None of that, all that stuff would be suppressed like Hunter's laptop story. It would be buried like Jimmy Hoffa. But now it's like Twitter or X has turned everybody into their own debunkers. And so I wonder how the legacy media can still maintain this gaslighting role if the public can so quickly and easily call them out on it. And it's because they just assume their allies are there for them and they can continue doing this. I mean, it is comedy to watch them do this, and they're still doing it. But I think to back to your point about the honeymoon's among the media. Mm-hmm. Right. It's not, there's no honeymoon for people who are going to the grocery store and seeing the prices or dealing with crime in their cities or their lack of police.
And yeah, I think the real question here is how much are they going to be able to get away with all of this Kamala Harris bullshit? How much are they going to get away with? And right now, as much as like I don't want to say it, that they're doing a good job optically. They're doing a good job optically of making her look a lot smarter than she really is. And I think a lot of it is because Donald Trump needs to get on fucking Twitter. Donald Trump needs to get back on Twitter. I would love to know a realistic, legitimate reason outside of the fact that he has ownership in True Social. Why else is he not on Twitter? Because guess what? True Social ain't going to do us no fucking favors if Kamala Harris wins. True Social's going to do nothing if she wins. We are fucked. So he needs to get back on Twitter. You guys, that's fine. It's fine if you call it X. I call it Twitter. All right. It's Twitter to me. I'm running with Twitter. I don't like calling it X. I call it Twitter and I tweet. That's what I do. Maybe that's why they haven't approved my blue check mark since I changed my profile picture. But it's Twitter to me, damn it. It's still real to me, damn it.